Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina Zervos. So as everyone says, you have to subscribe and follow my channel. I want to talk about my cancer journey. And the reason why I want to talk about my cancer journey, I've realized that helping just one person save their life or give them information that could help them get through it is very meaningful. So I want to say, I am stumbling over my words. I'm nervous. I've never done this. I've wanted to do a YouTube channel. I talked about it for years. I've never done it. I guess I was nervous because I don't want to be judged. Or I wasn't even strong enough to handle it at that time. I think I'm strong enough now, and I hope that I continue to be this strong to bring the information that you guys need. My life has been very interesting, and so there's a lot that I can talk about. I've had a very, very rough life, and that is why cancer was different for me. And I want to talk about that with you guys. So let's get started. My name is Sabrina Zervos. I am a couple months away from being 43, and I'm proud to say my age because the way I found my cancer was by accident. And with the insurance companies, they tell you to wait to 40 to get checked. And had I done that, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today. And so I'm very proud to be going on 43. I'm very proud to be alive. And I want to share this journey with everyone. So let's get started with how I started my journey. First, I want to say that I had breast cancer. And 3 weeks after I found out that I had cancer, I also found out that I was BRCA2 positive. I was the first to find out in my family. At this time, we did not know we had family history. I found out later on that my great-grandmother died of ovarian cancer. I thought it was stomach cancer, and we've never really spoken about it. In my family, we're not as close as we could be because of the hardships that we've went through, because of being a minority, because of being poor. We were poor. We lived in shelters. We had to get through life in the hardest way. So for me, I thrived. I thrived on I thrived on owning a home at just 30. I thrived on my career and becoming successful. And cancer kind of put a hold on a lot of things. It took a lot from me, but it changed me, and it changed me for the positive. Do I think cancer is a good thing? Absolutely not. No way. But did I learn from this experience? Did it show me things I never thought I probably would see had I not gone through this? Would I be who I am today? I don't know that. And I don't even want to think about what I would be, what I could be, or what I should have been. I want to focus on the future. I want to focus on today. And that is why I'm starting this video. So let's get started. So how did I find my cancer? You guys are going to think I'm crazy. You really are. But I woke up and knew something was wrong. We joke about me being a bruja. My friends call me that. And I'm not offended by that. The reason why they call me that, I've said things and they've come true. So I'm careful on not speaking negatively because I have spoke negatively and it has come true. Just as well as I've spoke positively and it comes true. It is so true that you can manifest what you go through. And you can manifest things, and you can make those manifestations into goals, into dreams, as well as the bad things that you think about. So I had to learn to retrain my thoughts so that I didn't think about and say, oh my God, here I am. I said something and it came true, and I didn't want that to come true. It was bad. But hey, look, I'm a human being, but we joke about this. I'm a bruja. It's all good. I'm usually the life of the party. I'm a very outgoing person, but I'm also very private in certain areas of my life. It's really weird. I'm an open book, but a closed book. But you will get to know that. And if you want to know more about my past, ask me, tell me. If you subscribe and you comment below and I get enough comments that says that they want to know more about me, then I will share that with you. I will share it with you slowly. Give me time to be comfortable with the camera. So let's get started on how my cancer journey was. So the day I went to the doctor, I woke up one morning and I told my husband I felt the pain on my right breast. And I just knew something was wrong. I don't even know how to describe it, but I knew something was wrong and I needed to find out what was wrong. I didn't want to say what it was because, again, I didn't want to manifest it. So I didn't say what I thought it was, but I did know something was wrong. So I went to my doctor. I made an appointment. I went to my doctor. She felt something, and it was a week after my period. So she thought that it was like, you know how we get little lumps in our breast when we go through our menstrual cycles. Um, the woman's body is very complicated, so we go through a lot of changes, we go through a lot of things because we have reproductive systems. And so I felt something and I just knew. So I go to the doctor and she said she didn't think it was cancer. She told me that I had no family history. She said that I shouldn't worry, but I wouldn't leave the office without getting a mammogram. I refused to leave the office until she gave me a referral. But it states that the insurance in New York City. At that time I was in New York City. I live in Florida now. So at that time in New York City, they tell you that you're not, if you have no family history, you are not allowed to get a mammogram until you're 40. And I don't agree with that, because women are getting sicker and sicker, younger and younger. And I have my theory on that too. Trust me. We're not going to get into that because this video is just an introductory video of me and how I found my cancer. I want to give you guys, this video is going to be about giving you guys information that helped me, support groups, Facebook closed support groups that helped me vent, helped me cry. I was also even ashamed to admit that I was depressed. But I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed because it was hard. Having cancer is nowhere near easy, especially as a 35-year-old woman. I was 3 months shy of my 36th birthday. So did I think it would be me? Never in a million years. I had a friend who her mother went through breast cancer. I had other friends who their family members been to it. So we never thought it would be me. But it chose me. So here I am today. So I woke up. I went to the doctor. She refused to give me the referral because she really strongly believed I didn't have cancer. But I sat there and I convinced her that I want a mammogram. I need to hear that nothing is there. And this is my very first mammogram, guys. My very first mammogram. So imagine. So here I am convincing her. Now, she did give me the referral, but she didn't give it to me because she thought I had cancer. She gave it to me, and this is not something else I'm revealing now. And this is something else I do want to talk about through my journey, because, there's a lot of jokes, a lot of comments that people don't realize hurt you. And one of those comments is, oh, you have a free boob job. Well, guess what? I had a boob job. I had breast augmentation before my cancer. And I like to believe that saved my life, because my doctor would only give me a mammogram because I had implants. I only had them in a year and a half. And what I didn't know when I got my implants was that you have to check them every 2 years. Doctors, don't tell you that. I guess because it's elective surgery, they don't give you all of the information you should know. Do I think that they gave me cancer? I don't think that they did, but who am I to know? Nowadays, there's so many toxic things that we go through. Who am I to tell you that it did or did not? I don't believe it did, because it wasn't long enough in my body. I only had it, the breast augmentation, for a year and a half. And if I believe that, I wouldn't have implants now. So I don't believe that. I would like to believe that is not what caused it. because I'm genetically disposed. So let's go back to the story. I told you I was going to be all over the place, guys. You know, this is my first video, so I'm trying. I'm probably not going to edit because I'm learning how to do that too. I watched a lot of blog videos and they said sometimes you just got to go for it and do the video. So here I am. And so let's get back. So she said, Sabrina, you have had your implants for a year and a half. Let's check your implants to make sure there's no leaks and ruptures. So I didn't care why she gave it to me. I just wanted a mammogram. So she gave me the referral. I go in. I made an appointment to get a mammogram. Now, yes, I did wait 2-3 weeks, which, oh my God, my anxiety levels were over the roof because I wanted that mammogram like yesterday. So I waited. So I go to my mammogram appointment. And the funny thing is, I'm sitting there and they go and they do the mammogram. Those of you who know what a mammogram is, it is not fun. The clicking to squeeze your breast, and the click, 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 and then a few more clicks, and then a few more clicks. Oh my God. And having a mammogram when you have breast implants, oh my God, do they hurt. Because what they do is they push the implant back and try to bring the breast tissue forward so they can get a good look at it. So I go to the mammogram. I'm sitting on that chair that they put you in, or actually I was standing first. The biopsy was sitting. So I was standing and they took the screening and they took photos and they took photos and they took photos, or however you call it. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but images. So finally, I see that they continue to take images. They made me wait outside. There, I saw someone who I used to work with. And she went in, got a mammogram, they gave her results, and she left. So the fact that I sat there, you know how uncomfortable I felt? To know that everybody was getting their answers as a no, and I wasn't hearing anything. So they called me back in and said the doctor would like more images. Initially, that scared me. I said, oh my God, it's me. It's me. And they kept telling me, Sabrina, just because we're getting more images, this does not mean that anything is there. And I know they were just trying to keep me calm, and I know that they were doing their job. And that's fine, but I just knew, so I didn't say anything. And I took the extra images. Then they said they wanted to do the sonogram. So I go to do the sonogram. Then finally, they sit me down and they tell me that I need a biopsy. All I could think of was, is it me? Am I the one with cancer? I couldn't believe it. It was so unreal. So they make my appointment. I go back in for a biopsy. Now, you know, I went home and researched everything. I am one of those people that I am addicted to researching. If something's wrong with me, I will research everything under the sun. So I went and I researched. One factor stood out to me more than anything, and that was 1 out of every 4 biopsies is cancer. Let's think about that for a second. 1 in 4. So that means if you're in a room with 8 people getting a biopsy, 2 of them have cancer. That's not a lot of people. Guys, that's not a lot. And it's almost like it confirmed it for me. I was like, oh my God, is this gonna be me? So, and then I remember I called my friend, and my friend, she's amazing. She has her own journey, and she didn't know it then. And I remember she was like, Sabrina, it's not you. Like, I've had plenty of biopsies, and all of them were benign. Don't get nervous. But I didn't know how to tell her that I knew it was me. Because I'm bruja, unfortunately. So here I am, convinced it's me. Because that hearing 1 out of 4 women who get a biopsy, it's cancer. So I go, make my appointment. This was 2 weeks later. So I go, and the day I got my biopsy was June 18th. The reason why I remember this, not only because of cancer, is because the man who baptized me, my godfather, he died on June 18th of lung cancer. And I remember this clearly because when I went for my biopsy, nobody in my family knew. Because we're not close, because sometimes my family could be very negative, and because they didn't like me, because, I was called bougie, I didn't know where I came from, and that wasn't really the issue. It wasn't that I didn't know where I came from. I just wanted better for me, for my children, for my life. And so I thrived to succeed. And it meant that I had to leave people behind. It meant that I had to move away. It meant that I had to focus on my life. So it put a strain on our family. So I didn't tell anyone that I was going in for a biopsy. I didn't tell anyone about my mammogram. So I'm sitting there. I go in for the biopsy. Let me tell you, that thing is freaking painful. They tell you it's not. It's painful. For me, it was. Maybe for other people, it wasn't. I heard a lot of people say it wasn't painful, but for me, it was. So basically, they hook you up to the mammogram machine, and they have like this gun that sticks on the mammogram. And there's this big pop. And oh my God, is that terrifying. So they hook up this gun, and they image your breast while they direct this gun to the place that they find something suspicious. What they found was calcifications. So they go in and they take a piece of the tissue and they scan. That took about 45 minutes. Oh my God, was that an experience. So I go in and do this biopsy. And so the gun is basically hollow and they put a needle through it. So the first thing that they do is they direct the gun into your breast. So you hear this big pop, because it's like an air, like it's like an air. So it has this big popping noise. You never forget that. You never forget that. So boom, they go in, they put the needle through, and they take a piece. They scan while they're taking the piece to make sure that they're taking it at the right location. Then they take the piece that they take out and they scan that as well to make sure that it's what they were looking for. Then what they do is they put a small titanium chip inside the place that they took the biopsy from. And the reason why they do this is that so if your cancer is very localized and they remove it, they want to know where they took the piece out so that they know that that is where the cancer was. And so that they can take it out. So they put the titanium chip. I ended up having a hematoma. I had to sit there for quite some time so that they can stop the bleeding. And so that's what we did. I would say, I remember I was in pain. I didn't realize how much we feel everything with our breasts. We open doors like this and you feel that on your chest. Picking yourself up from the bed, you feel that on your chest. We do so much with our chest. People think, people tell you all the time, these are just breasts, they're not important. But guess what? Our whole lives, us women, are brought up brought up and looked at. Our breasts are looked at as sex objects. Our breast has become part of our beauty. Our hair has become part of our beauty. Our bodies are objectified all the time because women are beautiful. We're beautiful. And I will tell you, I was never very confident growing up. How more confident was my husband? My husband used to tell me, look in the mirror. Do you even understand how beautiful you are? It was because of him that I am as confident as I am. It's because of him that I am still confident. Because growing up the way I did, it didn't help my confidence. And I can't be mad at my mom. I can't be mad at my dad. I mean, I was. Don't get me wrong, I was. But they too had a rough life. And they too were not taught to love properly. They were not taught how to encourage. They were not taught how to raise children. So for them, they did the best they could. In their minds, they did the best they could. And I would never make the decisions that they make, but they did try. And so for that, I don't want to hold that anger in my heart. Cancer taught me that I had anger in my heart and I didn't even know it. So cancer taught me a lot. Cancer was the reason why I went to my first therapy appointment. So imagine. But let's go back to what I was talking about. So I did this biopsy. And June 18th, I was in the biopsy for hours. I came out of the biopsy and I had about 30 missed calls on my phone. And the reason for that was because everyone was calling me because my godfather had passed away from lung cancer. Now let that sit there with you for a minute. Here I am going for a biopsy. And my godfather died of lung cancer. How scared do you think you would be? I was terrified. It's amazing because I'm talking about it and it's been 7 years and it still tears me up. So I'm sorry if I get teary-eyed. I get teary-eyed because it is so real. What you go through is so real. So here I am. I go to, I get the biopsy. And since I was in pain from opening doors, getting up, it was so sore that my boss allowed me to work from home. So when I found out I had cancer, it was over the phone. I remember this very clearly. I was on the phone with my boss and we were discussing work, and I see the phone call come through. I know what my doctor's number is. So I told him, can you please hold, because I think that's my doctor on the other line. So I answered the call and she couldn't. She hesitated. She was trying to let me know that I had cancer and she didn't know how. Like, not that she didn't know how, but I could imagine how hard it is to tell somebody that they have cancer. That's not the part you want to talk about. And this wasn't like my oncologist. This was a general medicine doctor, my everyday doctor. So I don't think she has to deliver those news consistently. At least maybe not at that point in her career. I don't know. But I can hear the hesitation in her voice. I can hear that she was about to tell me something that was going to change my life. And so I made it easy. And I said, I have cancer, don't I? And her response was yes. What you feel. People don't realize the stages you go through. And I'm not saying that. The other thing I want to talk about is that it doesn't matter what stage you are in your cancer. Stage 1, stage 2. It doesn't matter. It changes your life. Now, I'm not going to take away from those women who go through stage 3 and stage 4. I can't even imagine what they feel, what they go through. So I'm not going to try. But even for me, they told me I was stage 0 and it felt like I was going to die. Because all you hear about is cancer and death. So your initial thoughts when you hear cancer is you're gonna die. So imagine. So here I go with my cancer journey. She tells me I have cancer and I have to see a breast surgeon. I have to see an oncologist. At first I was numb. I remember switching back over to my boss and said, I have to let you go. She just told me that I have cancer. And he was like, he didn't know what to say to me. I didn't even know what to say to myself. I didn't know what to say to my husband. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feel. I was in shock. Me? Cancer? I don't give a excuse me, not gonna curse. It's YouTube. But I don't care how much you think you can prepare for something like this, you can. So I said, okay. I started researching. I started researching and researching and researching. What does this mean for me? What do I have to do? Being stage 0, what they told me I had was DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, in my right breast, in the lower quadrant of my breast. They said it was calcifications. So let's talk about going to my breast surgeon, because I was disappointed in how she told me things, and I'll tell you why. She told me that she wasn't worried. I remember the gestures and everything. She said, Sabrina, it's this tiny. It's a 5.5 millimeters that we're worried about. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. She said, we're not worried. It's small. You're going to be fine. You're going to live. And you think to yourself, she's right. You're going to live. But why did I still fear that I would die? Because of the stigma, because of what's out there. So I didn't want to hear it. I was pissed. Why me? Didn't God give me enough battles in my life? Why do I have to fight this battle? Why me? Not poor me, but why me? I was working out. I was in the best shape of my life. I had just gotten married. We had the time of our lives getting married in Mexico. My body was fit. I did breast augmentation and never thought I could look that beautiful. Why do you want to take my breast after I just got it where I wanted? Do you know how beautiful? Let me tell you a little something. Let's get off of this a little bit. It's not that I didn't think I was beautiful, but I've always, my whole life wanted bigger breasts. I was part of the itty bitty titty committee. It was what it was. You know, kids are cruel. So I had small breasts my whole life. So I wanted them bigger. I wanted to feel good. And let me tell you something, I did them and I felt amazing. I felt I looked like a porn star, honestly. I mean, I wasn't, never danced, never showed my body. I was never a person to be out there like that. Did I dress sexy? Did I go with the style of that was out at that moment? Yes, I did. And so I enjoyed having breast augmentation. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I enjoyed it. I was feeling myself. I remember one day my husband told me, I was looking in the mirror. I came out the shower after breast augmentation, and my husband caught me looking at myself in the mirror, and he's like, "Are you feeling yourself?" But I really was feeling myself. I never thought I could look that amazing. Like, I was like in awe of what my body looked like. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because imagine that I had to get them removed. What that meant for me. What am I going to look like? I just finally started feeling confident. I just finally thought I was the most, like my husband saw me, the most beautiful woman to him. And so I didn't want to lose that. That was the one thing I was most afraid of. And I didn't want to admit it to my husband, that I didn't want him to look at me differently. And I want to talk about that too, relationships, on how hard cancer is on your relationship. Even till right now, 7 years later, we are still working through some things. And I want to talk more about that, but we'll talk more about that later on. So let's get back to that story. So I find out that she's only worried about the 5.5 millimeters. And so I go to her, I go to a plastic surgeon. They're telling me all the things that I can do. With all the research that I did, with all the YouTubing that I did, I started to look up mastectomies. Now, let me tell you, that was when I broke down. I didn't even cry for 3 days. Not one, I didn't shed one tear until I Googled mastectomies. The fear of a mastectomy. Now, you do know that you see some of the worst cases when you Google. And that's not really how everyone looks, but it is the reality that you can be botched. This is not an elective surgery. This is to save your life. So they're not concentrating on how you look or how they're going to make you look. Do you know how terrifying that is? Because, yeah, breasts are important, and I'm happy to be alive. But you have to learn to love yourself again, scars and all. And I want you guys to know how hard that was for me. But I got through it, and I don't even mind showing it. I wouldn't show it on this video. I have to, my husband wouldn't want me to. I want to take some pictures and, show some of the scars. I mean, I think it might be too late because the scars do look really good. And you can't see a lot. especially on the left side. They did such a good job. You can't even tell, but on the right side, it's a little lower, and the scar's all there. So let me tell you what I opted to do. With all the research, since I was only stage 0, I wanted nipple sparing mastectomy. So I saw my breast surgeon. My breast surgeon, you know, that year that I got cancer was the year Angelina Jolie came out with her BRCA and how she did a preventative mastectomy. And I was lucky that she came out that year because it made me understand. More information came out about BRCA1, BRCA2. And so I wanted to understand what this meant for me. So my doctor said, I want you to see a genetic counselor. And I advised everyone to see a genetic counselor because this information isn't easy. And when you have questions, you want them answered. So she told me to see a genetic counselor. She didn't think it was in my family because my mom did not have cancer, my grandmother did not have cancer, and my aunts at this time did not have cancer. So, or at least I didn't know. And so she wanted me to see a genetic counselor because I was only 35. So there goes my journey. I saw a genetic counselor, saw the breast surgeon, saw the plastic surgeon. Now, I go to the genetic counselor because I felt in order to make an informed decision, I needed to know everything that was wrong with me. And the reason why I needed to know everything was because if I had no more cancer, if I did not have the gene, I could just do a lumpectomy. We're talking about stage 0. Why not do a lumpectomy and keep going about my life? But I needed to know the full picture. So I go to the genetic counselor. She asked me if I wanted to do the full panel. I wish I did then, but I didn't. I had, like, this was so overwhelming that I just wanted to know if it was BRCA1 or BRCA2. I think she told me there was like only a 2% chance that I could have BRCA1, BRCA2. Guess what? I'm BRCA2 positive. So I remember we joked. We walked through my family tree because I'm a person that sometimes when things are serious, I joke about it to ease the tension because I'm a happy person. I like to have fun, you know. Growing up, I was a party girl. My friends loved how much I was the life of the party. So I was my mechanism throughout my life and my hardship was to joke about things. So I remember I went to the doctor. I was joking with her, whatever, and she was like, Sabrina, I strongly don't think it's in, it's in your family tree, but you just don't know until you check. So I took the blood test. It's just a blood test. And I do know that 23andMe can also check, for those who don't have insurance, you can take 23andMe, but I don't want you to take just that 23andMe as if you find out from 23andMe that you might have this gene, I suggest going to a genetic counselor and really talking to a doctor. So before I continue, I want to say that I am not a doctor. Please, my journey is my journey and my journey alone. I don't advise people to follow my journey, but to help make you understand what I went through and what this can mean for you. But don't make your decisions on what I say because I am not a doctor. You have to see your doctor. And every individual journey is very different. I didn't realize how different everybody's journey is. So I go to the genetic counselor. 3 weeks later, I find out that I'm BRCA2 positive. My world just went upside down because now that meant a mastectomy. It meant a hysterectomy. So now I went from maybe getting a lumpectomy to my whole body changing. So I went and I was like, why me? Why me? I had a lot of battles in my life. I went through a lot and fought for where I am today. And so I didn't think it was fair that I would have another battle on my hands. But what I've realized is that I appreciate life differently now. I appreciate my family differently now. So it's funny how the bad things in your life can change everything about you. So let's continue. So I found out I was BRCA2 positive. I found out I had, I started researching. I remember when I found out I was BRCA positive, it tore me down in a whole nother way. I didn't want my husband to worry about what I was worried about, so I didn't tell him. I would fake as if I was sleeping, even though I was up all night long researching. I couldn't stop reading. And so I remember my son, my youngest, was 4 years old at the time. My oldest was 16. So I go into the bedroom of my 4-year-old and just start crying when I looked at him. And I asked God, don't take me away from him. Don't take me away. He's 4 years old. He doesn't deserve that. I didn't even care about me. I just didn't want my child to go through life like that. He's 4 years old. Excuse me, guys. I didn't bring tissue. Didn't think I was going to need it. Look at that. It's been a while since I've talked about my journey. So I started my journey. When I went to my breast surgeon and she wrote skin sparing mastectomy on my document, and I didn't notice that she wrote that. I remember I started looking up my documents, and this was like maybe 2 weeks, because she was like, you need to get surgery now. You need to get surgery now. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. I waited 3 months. I don't advise that because there was changes in my breast. And I won't advise that because I'll tell you what my pathology report was after my mastectomy, and it's going to blow your mind because it blew mine. And